Hey everyone, and welcome to another explainer. Today, we're going to take a really massive, comprehensive industry landscape and break it down into clear, actionable visual insights. And I gotta say, we have a genuinely exciting topic today for all you creators and focused learners out there. We are unpacking the world of over-the-top, or OTT, distribution for independent filmmakers. For decades, if you poured your absolute heart, sweat, and hard-earned capital into making an independent movie, the hardest part wasn't actually wrapping production, it was getting the film in front of an actual audience. Traditional distribution gatekeepers made it incredibly difficult. But today, we are going to look at a visual guide that proves the digital streaming revolution has completely rewritten the rulebook, and it's heavily in favor of the creator.
Look at this quote right here. Your film, their platform, the world. It looks like a simple sticky note, right? But this quote, taken directly from our source material, really establishes the incredibly high stakes and the vast potential we're talking about today. This right here is the new formula for success. It represents a massive, game-changing shift in industry power. Basically, you supply the creative vision and the final cut, these companies provide the digital infrastructure and the servers, and suddenly, geographical borders just melt away. Your potential audience scales instantly from maybe a limited local festival screening to a truly worldwide viewership. To truly grasp the sheer scale of this opportunity, let's take a step back and look at the complete visual landscape we're analyzing today. This incredibly detailed infographic, brought to us by ShortFundly, maps out the top film OTT distribution companies that are actively accepting independent movies right now. And what's truly remarkable about this ecosystem is just the sheer volume of opportunities presented. We aren't just looking at one or two monopolizing tech giants. We're looking at a vibrant, highly diverse ecosystem of 10 distinct platforms. Each of these companies has a totally unique audience, its own monetization model, and a specific appetite for different kinds of content. So our goal today is to decode this map so you understand exactly how the whole shebang works. I really want you to think of me as your strategic distribution matchmaker today, rather than just someone reading a dry list of 10 companies. Okay, so here's our agenda for today. First, we'll enter the OTT era. Second, we'll look at platforms for indie champions. Third, genre and niche favorites. Fourth, the global streaming giants. And finally, number 5, why choose OTT distribution? All right, kicking things off with Section 1, enter the OTT era. We're looking at the foundational pillars of modern independent distribution. Before we even start looking at where to put a film, we really need to understand the foundational pillars of modern independent distribution that make this era so revolutionary for creators. The old rules? They're gone. Now, platforms are defined by 5 shared pillars. First up, they offer global reach, completely breaking you out of regional limits. This is paired with fair revenue share, so the economics actually support your livelihood, which is absolutely crucial. And instead of waiting years in studio limbo, you get a fast approval process from companies actively supporting indie talent. They're bringing a true filmmaker-first approach to their business models. And finally, multi-platform exposure ensures your film is optimized for any screen anywhere. So whether an audience member is watching on a smart TV in their living room, a tablet in bed, or a mobile phone on a train, your film looks great. Moving into Section 2, platforms for indie champions, finding a dedicated home for independent and festival cinema. When we compare these indie-centric platforms side by side, it's pretty fascinating. Notice how ShortFundly acts as this broad global catch-all for everything from short films to web series, boasting super fast approvals and a highly filmmaker-friendly environment. Conversely, Vimeo On Demand shifts the focus to a premium rental and purchase model. This is perfect for prestige documentaries and art house films, where audiences are actually willing to pay directly for that premium quality. And hey, if your feature is a true festival darling, Filmbox Live acts as a heavily curated network designed specifically to showcase that exact level of critical acclaim. Rounding out our indie champions, we have Battery Pop. This platform provides an ecosystem where your independent content is the main event. It's not just an afterthought buried beneath some massive studio blockbuster. It serves as a dedicated home for indie films, documentaries, and exclusive originals, giving you a focused, highly targeted space for pure independent voices to really thrive. All right, Section 3, genre and niche favorites, curated platforms for specific audience tastes. Because let's be honest, in the digital era, sometimes speaking directly to a dedicated, passionate niche is a way more powerful than trying to appeal to everyone. And this is where we see the true power of targeted curation. Take Dust, for example. It thrives on genre films and cult favorites. If you've created a wild horror movie, a sci-fi epic, or a really tense thriller, Dust puts your work directly in front of fans who actively crave that exact adrenaline rush. Contrast that laser focus with Yada, which specializes in niche, global, and hard-to-find independent films. If your film totally defies traditional commercial categorization or is a unique international piece, Yada provides a home where adventurous audiences specifically go to discover that kind of rare cinematic experience.
Now, you can also target your niche through the lens of monetization and accessibility. Look at this side by side of Tubi and Plex. Tubi operates as a totally free streaming platform with a truly massive audience. It relies heavily on ad revenue sharing, which is fantastic for independent and genre films. Why? Because the barrier for the viewer is absolutely zero. They watch an ad, and you get a revenue cut. Boom. On the other hand, Plex provides global streaming, but specifically highlights a variety of monetization options for indie filmmakers. That makes it an awesome fit for indie, docs, cult, and classic content. So this just goes to show that you can target a platform not just based on the genre of your film, but on how you strategically want to monetize your specific audience. Which brings us to Section 4, the global streaming giants, massive audience reach, and household brand recognition. Sometimes your content demands massive scale, and that's when you turn to the heavy hitters of the OTT landscape. The Roku channel totally leverages its hardware dominance. I mean, it's built right into millions of living room televisions to provide huge audience reach, incredibly wide device support, and clear monetization for broad audience content. Then we have Prime Video, which is essentially the definition of a global giant. What makes Prime so attractive for high-quality feature films is its sprawling retail-tied ecosystem. It offers rental, purchase, and subscription opportunities all in one single place. Landing on Prime essentially lets you tap into one of the most established and robust consumer networks on the entire planet. Finally, Section 5, why choose OTT distribution? Let's break down the strategic advantages for independent filmmakers. So, we've seen the platforms and we've explored the landscape, but ultimately, what's the real so what here? Well, the strategic advantages all point toward empowering you, the creator. You instantly reach global audiences and generate revenue through transparent deals. But honestly, more importantly, you retain your rights rather than just signing your intellectual property away forever. Plus, you get to utilize flexible release options. All of this puts you firmly in the driver's seat to build your own brand directly with your fans. At the end of the day, OT distribution is fundamentally about giving you back control. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this provocative thought taken right from the source material. Your story deserves a global stage. Where will you distribute it? We've explored the indie champions, the highly curated niche platforms, and those massive global streaming giants. The digital infrastructure is built, these platforms have dedicated support, and they are hungry for fresh independent talent. The choice of where to make your mark is now entirely up to you. Keep creating, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.